All right, you're watching the Sports Roundup Show. This is our NFL segment. We do this every Friday, talking about the best in the NFL. And of course, we're going to start off with the Rams. So unfortunately, their season came to an end last Saturday against the Green Bay Packers. But Jared Goff came back. He stepped up. He had a great game, over 200 yards, one of his best playoff games. I don't know what you think in his career because he played really well.
Um, I'm lost for words because Mike said Jared Goff did good. If you guys have been watching our videos, which just scroll back to our past videos you'll be entertained.
I mean, it wasn't a great season for Jared Goff.
But
Let's
yeah,
just say that.
yeah, and then Mike he gets on him. But now yeah, Jared Goff because of course Super Bowl game he didn't play too good.
No.
They didn't make it last year. So leading up to Super Bowl, I can't remember off the top of my head if he had any good games.
Against the Saints in the championship.
And I want to point out that first game in 2017, the wild card game, he did play pretty good. I do want to.
I can't remember who that was against.
No, they lost, if I'm correct, the wild card game, right, Mike?
Yeah, that first year they lost, and then the next year they got the bye and they got in.
So he played good, if I remember, but they still lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't put it on Jared Goff. Throughout the whole season, a lot of fans, media would put it on Jared Goff. No, I'm with you, Mike, 100%. It was not Jared Goff. It was that bad man who's my favorite QB, Mike. I've been saying it from the beginning. Aaron Rodgers. He balled out, Mike. He balled out.
Yeah, he played great. I think he just showed that he's definitely going to go to the Hall of Fame, right? I mean, I know some people have he won a Super Bowl, but he just showed how great he was in that game, and then definitely like we were talking about before we did the video, the fans really helped out the Packers. I mean, I was surprised. I know throughout the season the Packer fans were obviously couldn't go because of COVID. This was the first time I really saw them show up. They of course changed the restrictions for the playoffs. We've been seeing that around the league pretty much. And they really came out, and it was loud. The Rams were having trouble, hearing themselves as like a road team. They called it a couple timeouts, right? Because they were running late in the play clock. So they really helped the Packers push forward because the Packers defense really had trouble, containing the Rams last Saturday.
Mike, it was what, 7,000 fans, if I'm correct? I think it was 7,000.
Yeah. I can't remember. It was 7 or 10,000, something like that. There's something
So,
in between there.
and like you said, we was texting each other. It sounded loud.
Yeah.
Uh, we had some inside Buffalo for the first time. That sounded loud. So yeah, these fans can make a difference because I was telling you this before we came on. That those fans gave energy to that defense. You have some players over there. I mentioned it last week in our video. Yair Alexander, the corner. We have Zadarius Smith. I mean, they're good players. Like they're Pro Bowl players. I know Zadarius, the linebackers, Pro Bowl and whatnot. But these other players on their team, they played great. As you mentioned, again, the Rams didn't have all three timeouts going into the fourth quarter. We were talking about that recently. So
Yeah.
they and I do want to say our defense didn't play that good because of injuries. No excuses, but we did have some injuries. Cooper Kupp didn't play, Mike. That showed.
Yeah, definitely showed up. Yeah. Of course, was a late scratch due to knee injury. And then also, Cam Akers had a tough game. He did not run the ball like how he did the week prior against the Seahawks, right? He played great, and the Packers stopped him, right? And they didn't let him get into a rhythm, and that was for me the big difference also.
Mike, and we can go all the way back to one of our August videos when you pointed out fans make a difference.
Yeah, especially in the NFL. Yeah.
We were talking about it in August because the NBA with the Miami Heat making it so far with players because they don't get to hear the boos or whatnot, and they just get to play freely because nobody would have thought Miami would have made it if they would have played in Milwaukee's home crowd with that loud fans or and then hockey. I don't know if you would say that it matters.
No, it doesn't affect. I don't think it affects as much, to be honest.
So
I think like Tampa Bay and Dallas, the two teams that made the finals, they were contenders at the start of the year. So
Baseball, would you say maybe it may?
well, I don't know. We had fans in the playoffs, so they actually it actually wasn't that during the season. Yeah, there were some crazy results, but I don't know. It wasn't as effective. I think the NBA was the one that really was changed by the bubble, right? I mean, Miami would have never made it to the finals in the regular setting.
So to bring it back to the NFL, the fans make a difference. It's going to make a difference in the next couple weeks. And it showed because Mike, if it was no fans, I'm not for sure if that defense would have been playing as great with the energy, with the crowd noise, because like you mentioned, some third downs it got loud. Um, but yeah, just Rams. They they got to do it next year. It would. What would you say, Mike? Because I was thinking about this earlier. I was trying to pinpoint one thing that you would describe this season for the Rams for not making it all the way to the Super Bowl.
Well, I don't know. I think it's a combination of obviously losing Todd Gurley right in the offseason and not really replacing him. I know Todd Gurley didn't have a great season last year. Of course, was injured, but I don't know. I just think him being there was kind of like it's different, right? I mean, because he was a star running back. I know now his career is probably over, but I mean, a few years back he was considered maybe the best running back in the league, right? So you go from having that to not replacing him, having a rookie in Cam Akers, and then having, of course, their other Malcolm Brown. But it wasn't. They never really replaced that star running back, right? So I think that was one thing. And then Jared Goff, right, didn't have a great season. That was also a big deal for them this year.
Mike, in the last 2 years, he's second in turnovers with
Yeah.
37 turnovers. Mike,
Yeah,
that's
you can't win that way.
you
And
cannot
it's surprising that the Rams have made the playoffs this year, and the year before they missed it, but they were close, right? They were about a game away from making it too.
because the defense is carrying them. That is the reason
Yeah,
why defense is carrying them because when they do turn over the ball, maybe they only allow 3 points or they get the ball back. So I want to ask you this because you more than likely you probably saw the press conference or at least you saw the highlights. They was asking Sean McVay about Jared Goff's future
yeah, I know, I saw that.
because of those turnovers and just how the last 2 years. So what do you liked them last week, Mike? But what do you think going forward? Because Sean McVay just said for right now. So what do you think going forward?
Well, I don't know. I was a little surprised with that, and then I was also really surprised. I don't know if you saw with Jalen Ramsey commenting on social media on Deshaun Watson, saying that it looks like an LA guy or something. Jalen Ramsey, one of Jared Goff's teammates, he put a comment on his IG saying that looks like somebody that would play in LA or something. He said something like that. So that made the news. He deleted the comment right after that. But I don't know. It's starting to look like the Rams are thinking of trading Jared Goff. Surprisingly, right after they drafted him number one, right, and they traded all those draft picks to get him. It looks like they're actually thinking of trading him, and obviously it would be for Deshaun Watson, who looks like he's out for the Houston Texans.
Mike, and if you remember this, back in 2017, uh, when 2018, 2017, whichever year was Jalen Ramsey's second year, he went and did an interview. If I remember Sports Illustrated or someone, and he was talking about every team's quarterback and saying who's good and who's not. And he mentioned Jared Goff is a bust. He said that he's not going to be good. That's why
Yeah.
last year when he came in, they was making jokes with Jared Goff and him and how do you feel about they're on the same team and whatnot. So Jalen Ramsey, even though it was years ago when he said that, it's probably still in the back of his head after seeing these turnovers that he's doing. Like, yeah, Jared Goff, he's not a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I mean, think about it. If the Rams trade Jared Goff, that's going to be. I mean, think about what a huge story that would be, right? I mean, Goff and Gurley led the team to the Super Bowl just years ago, and they would be both gone. And then the Rams would have to start all over with Deshaun Watson, who had a great season, but in my opinion, is still unproven at the NFL level, right? He's still. I'm not going to say he's a terrible quarterback, but he's still a young quarterback who hasn't really had much success. He hasn't been to a Super Bowl like Jared Goff, so it would be a huge gamble if the Rams do that trade.
Mike, and that's a big point you said. Jared Goff and Todd Gurley, 3 years removed. Well, it'll be 3 years. It'll be
It
Um,
was gonna be 3 years this year,
yes,
right?
it's going to be.
Yeah.
And if they led um Gurley was offensive player of the year. Even though he don't
Yeah.
remember he was in some runnings for MVP votes one year.
Yeah.
And then they were saying, how good Jared Goff played, but of course, some people saying thanks to Sean McVay. Um, so let me just flat out ask you, Mike, would you do it? Yes or no?
Well, I don't know. I have my doubts. I know you told me the other day you would do the trade for Deshaun Watson.
I
I
care
don't.
about the
I
turnovers, Mike. I don't mean
What
to,
is
I don't
it?
mean to cut you off, but I care about because of the turnovers, Mike. It's a
Because of
lot
the
of
turnovers. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think if you're going to do the trade, you have to do it now. Because if he has another bad season, I don't think they're going to be able to trade him right
that's
with that contract. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't really. I do you really think it's even possible they can trade Jared Goff? I mean, is somebody actually going to want to take that contract on when you also have? I mean, the Texans have the option to trade him for like Tua and not have to pay so much for him, right? So why would the Texans trade Jared Goff to the Rams? That would be my question. Why would they do it?
Mike, and they're mentioning that during this past week. I think it was like NFL Live or something. Yeah, Jared Goff. He's only 1 year in to that big contract. So
Yeah,
correct, 4 years left, 3 years left, something
I
like that.
think it's 4 years left.
Yeah,
Yeah,
4 years left, and we all know over 100 million. So, um, do you want a turnover machine for the next
4 years. Yeah,
4 years? And let's just say if the Texans would do that, and Jared Goff turns over the ball again, they bench him. You're going to have a backup quarterback making over 100 million for,
yeah. Or it'll be like a Todd Gurley situation where you have to cut him and then pay him, right? Because the contracts are non-guaranteed, so they would have to do that as well.
and that'll be dead money on the cap.
Yeah.
So they can't go out because they still have to. Good point.
Yeah, so I mean that's I don't know. I don't know. I can't really answer that question to be honest. Would I trade for Deshaun Watson? I mean, I remember seeing him playing Clemson. He was a great quarterback, but I don't know. I would have my doubts trading Jared Goff. Although he had a struggle, he had a really tough season, right? His worst statistical season of his career. I would really have my doubts because once you do that trade, I mean, that's it, right? I mean, Deshaun Watson would be the quarterback at least for 2 years, 2 or 3 years, but it's going to be really hard to then trade Deshaun Watson and get somebody else, right? If it doesn't work, I mean, that's going to be the issue too.
And the reason why I'm saying I was, you mentioned it. I said yeah when we was texting, Mike. This was the first year I got mad at golf. I'm usually the one that is
Yeah, the
saying
positive, yeah,
yeah, positive. He's gonna get better. This and that. Um, I remember the two shows. It was after the Miami Dolphins game. Some of that blame I did put on Sean McVay for letting him still pass the ball and not protecting him after they was blitzing. But I remember vividly after the Seahawks game when he threw that pass that I didn't know who he was throwing it
oh
to.
yeah, an interception, yeah.
He looked like he was trying to throw it into an ocean outside the middle of the field or something. Um, and yeah, and so I got because it's just I didn't know turnovers. I say this for the NBA. You hear me say this probably before. You can't win games if you keep turning over the ball. I'd rather have you in the NBA get a 24-second shot clock where they got to take the ball out to turn the ball over, or in NFL just punt it every time because you turn the ball over. That's bad.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with the Jared Goff situation. I think it's still very early in the offseason, right? So it's going to be probably another couple months of speculation.
After
Deshaun
March,
Watson, I think, will get traded though.
no, yeah, I'm with you. I was saying after March, yeah.
Yeah, after March, we'll see what happens. But now, this weekend we got the two championship games. Mahomes is going to play on Sunday, so I'm going to go with the Chiefs going back to the Super Bowl. What do you think?
Mike, I've been riding them all year. If you remember when they're speaking, talking about the Rams, when the Rams played the Bills, I was saying that it was gonna be a high scoring game. I was saying that watch out for the Bills for the upset. I remember you wasn't too high on the Bills then. I know
Yeah,
you're starting to like them a little bit more now, but um, and I'm not going to switch bandwagons. I got the Bills making it out the AFC. I've always told you this. I like Josh Allen. We was talking about Stephon Diggs last week. I'm a fan of his. That defense. You don't know too many big name players. You do have I can't remember the cornerback who used to play for the Washington football team, but he's on there. But I like it, and I'm going with the Bills out the AFC.
Man, you imagine the Bills, they made the Super Bowl, of course, 4 times back in the 90s and were unable to win. Uh, I mean, if they make it again, I
It was
mean,
4 times, Mike.
was it 4 or 5? It was 4, yeah.
No, no, I'm asking you because
No, it was
I
4.
didn't know
Yeah, 4 straight years, yeah.
that. Four.
Yeah.
Mm.
And they lost all 4 straight years, yeah. So I mean, it would be the fifth time. And wow, I mean, can you imagine if the Bills were to lose again in the Super Bowl? But we'll see. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I think playing in Kansas City is gonna be too much, and I think Mahomes is gonna the best quarterback in my opinion in the NFL. Is gonna take him back to the Super Bowl. And then in the NFC, you got the Packers and the Buccaneers. I mean, the Packers defense has to play better, or Tampa Bay is gonna make the Super Bowl. What do you think?
Mike, they were showing a game this past week from week 6 when the Bucks play the Packers. Blowout 38-10, if I remember the score. I think it was
Yeah.
38-10. Um, the Bucks just handed it to him. Um, and if anybody knows anything about me, I would never pick Tom Brady to win. I don't care if it's table tennis. Tom Brady, I would never pick Tom Brady to win. Ever since what happened with the Rams in 2001. But we're not gonna get into
It's
that.
gonna be 20 years now, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
what was that? 19 years later. Um,
Yeah.
20 years later.
Yeah.
But yeah. So and then of course I keep saying how I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan. One of my favorite quarterbacks. So I got Packers. Mike, your prediction. I want to get your prediction with the Chiefs and Bills before we go to this
Oh,
prediction.
my prediction was the Chiefs.
No, the
Going.
score.
Oh, score for the. I'm gonna say. I don't know. I'm gonna say 38-30. So high
Right.
scoring game.
I'm with you. I was gonna mention that it's gonna be a high scoring game.
Yeah, and then for the
I
Buccaneers and
8:30. But yeah,
oh
that's correct.
yeah, and then for the Buccaneers and the Packers, I got. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say that the Buccaneers pull it out. Sorry, man. I'm gonna go with the Bucks. They're gonna win in Lambeau. I think. I'm gonna say 35-28.
35-28.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Pack. Hey, because we've been going for the Rams all year, Mike. This is the first time
Yeah,
we
we're
can go head to head against each other. But yeah, I got I said the Bills, 38-30, and then I'm gonna go Packers. Ooh, I wonder would that crowd play a factor, but you can't. I'm not going. Now I respect Tom Brady. I don't think he ever. I don't want him ever to win, but I respect him. I don't know if that crowd is going to make a difference. So I'm gonna go 24-17. 24-17, Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens, and then the Super Bowl is going to be in Tampa Bay. There's going to be 20,000 fans. The NFL announced today they're going to have 8,000 frontline workers along with 12,000 regular fans. So there will be 20,000 people there. So we'll be a little bit louder than normal. So that will be pretty cool. But yeah, it's been a tough NFL season, right, with the coronavirus and everything. Let's just hope for next year things will be a lot better, right, for the Rams and for everybody.
More fans, everything.
Yeah.
Mike, before we wrap it up, I do want to ask you. This has been in talks for the last couple of days. Do you think Phillip Rivers? I'll give my opinion first,
Oh
but
yeah, Phillip Rivers.
do you think Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer?
No,
So,
I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
uh,
Sorry.
so I'm gonna let you end it, and then we can end the video. But I want to say I don't think so. To me, in my opinion, Hall of Famer, you got to make a stamp on the league that you left, whether it be basketball. Because I'm not talking about championships, because I think Allen Iverson is a Hall of Famer. I think in the NBA, Trace McGrady, I can't think of other leagues off the top of my head, but NFL, LaDainian Tomlinson. So there's players who haven't won championships. Charles Barkley, of course, plays like that. But it's about leaving a stamp on the league. To me, Phillip Rivers, he just got the stats. If you were talking about stats, it's a lot of players in the NBA who should be a Hall of Famer. As if we're just talking about stats, NFL. I think he's not. I saw a stat. He went 1-4 in the postseason. Of course, he never won a Super Bowl, but 1-4 in the postseason. That's when the Hall of Famers show up. I know it's not only on him, but
Are you talking because Phil Rivers' postseason was 5-7?
my bad. So championship games.
Oh, championship games. Yeah.
championship games.
Yeah.
Mm, So yeah, not in my opinion, not a Hall of Famer, Mike. You would you?
Yeah, I know. I don't. I going back. I mean, Philip Rivers. I respect the streak though. I
Yeah,
mean,
good player,
the
good player, good
I mean,
player.
great. The. I mean, I think he was a good player. I wouldn't call him great. I think he was a good player.
Good player.
But I really respect the streak, right? Because it's something we don't see in today's game. You know, not missing a game for 16 years. I know sometimes he wasn't 100%. He was still out there, especially this season,
Respect,
right?
respect.
But in terms of what of putting him at a great quarterback status would be, I can't do that. And then especially if you look at the Chargers when he was at the height of the Chargers' success, they had like Danny Tomlinson, right, one of the best running backs probably of our generation, carrying that team a lot. And I would Tomlinson for me is a Hall of Famer, but I don't think Philip Rivers is.
Agree with you 100%. Same thing. Yeah, Thomason, I definitely would. Fuller Rivers. I forgot to point that out. Yeah, that Iron Man's. If you get Mike, quarterback is one of the hardest positions to play, and you get hit almost every play. So yeah, for him to that streak, I agree with you. Good player. Sorry, Philip, just not a Hall of Famer in my opinion.
And he
Good.
played for the Chargers too, man. So,
Yeah.
man, sorry, man. Chargers sucks.
Dang, Mike. I think we should just ended on that, Mike.
All right. So I want to thank everybody for watching today's video, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel down here. Thanks for watching, everybody.